Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Cobern, and today's episode is the top 5 most overrated quarterbacks in the 2018 NFL Draft Class. And the way that we're coming to the most overrated players is by 3 main metrics. One is their age. If they are 23 and a half or older, they don't make the cut. 100% of multiple All-Pro quarterbacks since the 1983 NFL Draft Class were at least 23 and a half or less. So some of these quarterbacks that are on this list are just overrated because of the fact that they just hit a level of age where there's just never been a high-quality player with their age. So as a result, they get dropped down a bit. They get dinged a bit. And then, of course, we're going to look at high school production, which takes into account completion percentage and touchdown interception ratio compared to all the quarterbacks since the 2007 NFL Draft Class and also the 2004 high school class, if you will, just to put that in kind of perspective of how long that metric is. And then we're also going to look at the complete QB stat score, which takes into account completion percentage, touchdown interception ratio, and strength of schedule. All 3 of those factors kind of form one particular ball of data or information, and that stretches all the way back to the 1958 NFL Draft Class, with the help that all of the data presented in terms of the complete QB stat score is based on a 10-year average. Every quarterback is based on all the quarterbacks 10 years from that particular performance, and as a result, you're able to compare players from the 2000 era to players in the 80s to players in the 70s to players in the 60s, so on and so forth. To see if there's any patterns when it comes to their production data, which there are, which we'll get into. So this is what we're going to do, and now let's get to the list. At number 5, we have J.T. Barrett, quarterback out of Ohio State. Now, I like J.T. Barrett. I think there's lots of positives in terms of just his athleticism, and he is a fairly decent passer when it comes to short passes and stuff like that. But his big issue is in terms of high school production. It's non-existent. He wasn't a quarterback in high school. That's the big issue. So there is no high school production score for him. His complete QB stat score is 84.19, which is at least Pro Bowl level production. But it is a little scary that you have a player who just never played the position in his entire, well, until he got to the college level. And that's just never happened before. There's never been a long-term starter or a high-quality player who didn't play quarterback in high school and then play quarterback in the college level. So because of that fact that he's not a quarterback from high school to quarterback to college type of player, that just kind of hurts his overall profile in terms of projection and that other kind of stuff. And that's why he's a bit overrated, is just because he's a guy where there's lots of risk involved in his profile as a result of these particular issues. At number 4, we have Tanner Mangum, quarterback out of BYU. When it comes to his high school production, he scored 83.81 out of 100, which is fairly decent. But his collegiate production is only 50.30 out of 100, which doesn't hit any of the high-quality outcomes it needs to hit in terms of the complete QB stat score, on top of the fact that on draft day he will be 24.65, which there's never been a multiple All-Pro, multiple Pro Bowl quarterback who was 24.65 on the day that he was drafted. It's just never happened before in the history of the NFL, and it's likely not going to happen again. So it's just a combination of, one, his age on top of his complete QB stat score, which basically make it kind of almost non-existent for him to become a very high-quality player long-term. And that's just why he's overrated. I do like him as well. There are some positives to Tanner Mangum when it comes to his film and some of the things he does, and he's also a BYU guy, so there's some positives there as well. But his age just kind of drops him to a different sort of tier of prospect when you're evaluating quarterbacks. At number 3, we have Austin Allen, quarterback out of Arkansas. And Austin Allen is a bit of a draft Twitter fave, but unfortunately, he just doesn't hit the stuff that he needs to hit. In terms of high school production, he scored only 66.50 out of 100, which doesn't really hit the starter level when it comes to that particular metric for long-term starters, let alone Pro Bowl players. And then when it comes to college production, only scored 60.24 out of 100 when it comes to his complete QB stat score, which isn't exactly hitting Pro Bowl or All-Pro level when it comes to that particular metric as well. And on top of that, he's going to be 23.70 on draft day. And again, there's never been a high-quality NFL player, whether that's multiple Pro Bowl or multiple All-Pro who was 23.70 on draft day since the 1983 NFL draft class. So those are just some big knocks in Austin Allen. He doesn't really have the production profile of a high-quality NFL player, let alone a starter, and he doesn't really have the age that you're looking for in terms of a high-quality player. He could do a lot better this season. I expect him to do better this season, but I just think when you look at his age and look at his high school production, he's someone that I just think, regardless of how he performs this year, it's just not going to be the end result is just not going to be very good based on how he started. So that's the only thing I would say about Austin Allen going forward, and that's kind of why he's a bit overrated. I think the fact that he plays in the SEC is kind of bumping him up a bit in terms of people's minds, and I just think that there's better quarterbacks that you should be talking about and paying attention to than Austin Allen based on sort of his issues in terms of his production and also in terms of his age. And number 2 on the list is probably going to break Twitter or YouTube or whatever you call it, and Lamar Jackson, quarterback out of Louisville. Now, before you start leaving comments and leaving hate, I hate you, and leaving hate letters and death threats and all that kind of stuff, before you start doing that stuff, let me explain the data issues in terms of Lamar Jackson. Because there's a lot of people going, Heisman Trophy, this or that, he looks so great on tape, he's such a great runner, blah, 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 whatever. Let me get into it. Based on his high school production, he only scored 28.71 out of 100 in terms of his high school production score. There's never been a long-term starter since the 2007 NFL draft class with that particular production, nor has there been a Pro Bowl or All-Pro level quarterback with that high school production. It's just never happened since the 2007 NFL draft class. And as much as they called him a dual threat in high school, the fact of the matter is he was a single threat in high school based on his high school production. That's just not getting it done when it comes to his touch and reception ratio and the completion percentage. But not only that, guys, it carried over to the college level. His best season when it comes to the complete QB stat score, which was last year, was 48.07 out of 100. And this is actually Lamar Jackson's career as a collegiate. He was basically below average for his first year of college football, and then he didn't even get to average in his second year of college football. So as much as he improved from his first year of college to his second year of college, he was still below average in a year that he apparently improved. So the bottom line is, as I understand that Lamar Jackson is a young quarterback and that he can improve, and he has shown the ability to improve as a passer, it's just there's so much development here that just has yet to happen. And because he hasn't hit the All-Pro level he needs to hit or Pro Bowl level when it comes to just his passing efficiency as a passer, I just don't feel comfortable putting him in anywhere. And just as a comparison, because a lot of people are going to bring this up, what about Colin Kaepernick? What about Cam Newton? What about Russell Wilson? They were dual threat quarterbacks. You know, they were this, they were that. Well, this is Colin Kaepernick, Cam Newton compared to Lamar Jackson. Colin Kaepernick and Cam Newton both hit the marks they needed to hit in high school, and both of them hit the marks they needed to hit at the college level to indicate positive outcomes at the NFL level. The bottom line is Lamar Jackson is a very impressive athlete. He's a very impressive runner. He's an amazing collegiate to look at and watch on film. But as a passer, he just doesn't hit the marks he needs to hit in terms of high quality outcomes long term. And as a result, I just don't think it's gonna end very well at the NFL level based on these issues. Even if he does improve a little bit this year, that high school production is still going to drag him down no matter what he does this year. And that's just the way it is with Lamar Jackson. And the number 1 most overrated quarterback in all of college football, well, of the 2018 NFL draft class specifically, but college football as well, is Josh Allen, quarterback out of Wyoming. I've been waiting to do this. I've held it in long enough, and I just have to let it out. Based on his high school production, he has only scored 55.40 out of 100 when it comes to his high school production. None of those marks hit high-quality outcomes when it comes to long-term starter or Pro Bowl level production since the 2007 NFL draft class. So he already, from the very beginning of his high school, he had a very, very unlikely shot of becoming an All-Pro, let alone starting NFL quarterback. But then we get to his college production. Well, James, obviously he was good in college, or he did improvements in college. Well, good that you asked me that, because based on his complete QB stat score, he only scored 25.91 out of 100. And based on my data, which goes all the way back to the 1958 NFL draft class, there has never been a long-term starting quarterback with less than a 26 score with the complete QB stat score. That is how poor that number is when it comes to college efficiency. That is how poor that number is when you compare it to all the quarterback performances since the 1958 NFL draft class. That's just not getting it done, folks. So as much as Josh Allen is a fun player to watch, and he does do some throws here or there that are impressive, and people will show you the highlights all day long of him doing these impressive throws, they're not showing you the incompletions. They're not showing you the very, very interceptions he throws, the poor decisions, the lack of understanding where everything is. Just the stuff that's there is just not hitting where it needs to hit. So he could improve this year. He could improve this year from his 25.91 production score. But how much is he going to improve? Is he going to become an 80-plus passer this year? Is that what's going to happen? When the majority of his career, he was below average in most of those aspects. Like, he's significantly below average in these particular... It's just nuts, guys. So the bottom line is with Josh Allen is don't believe the hype. Don't believe what other people are telling you. Put on the tape and watch it. Don't watch highlights. Don't watch any of that stuff. Put on the tape and understand the difference between highly efficient quarterbacks and quarterbacks who just have incredible arm strength and look cool. Because he just doesn't have any of the marks when it comes to college production or high school production to be a high-quality NFL player. And I don't think that he's going to buck the trend. Guys like Brett Favre only come out once in a while. And if you're making the bet on Patrick Mahomes being Brett Favre, there can't be two Brett Favres in 2 years consistent. Like, that's just crazy. So it's just a blue moon event. And besides that, this is Patrick Mahomes' production compared to Josh Allen's production when it comes to high school and when it comes to college. And Patrick Mahomes is the much better prospect overall than Josh Allen. So the bottom line is, I understand there's lots of fans with Josh Allen. I understand there's lots of hype with Josh Allen, but don't believe the hype. Get over it. Just stop. Pay attention to quarterbacks that actually have a very good chance of becoming long-term starters or better at the next level, and just wash your hands and move on, because there are not a lot of good things that are going to come out of Josh Allen based on his high school production and based on his college production long-term. This concludes the top 5 most overrated quarterbacks of the 2018 NFL draft class. My name is James Cobern. You can find my work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content, if you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. In fact, right now, click the like button. Do it right now. And also share this video with friends or anybody you know. I mean, that's always helpful as well to kind of get my name out there. And I will talk to you guys in the next show. Also, leave a comment below on who you think is the most overrated quarterback in all of college football. And I will be sure to talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.